Let's give it up for our praise team. Oh my goodness, wow. Emma, you want to share something? How was the Queen doing training time today? Did she look pretty good? She looked pretty good. So can you give us a report on your Bible study and also the Love and Respect class? Sure, we have the sisters also the opportunity?
You could tell me before in advance. Okay. David, you guys have been watching Love and Respect DVD, right, by Dr. Eckridge, right? Isn't it good? Yeah, isn't it good? I'm now it's 20 years of marriage, right? Yeah. And then I still learn so much from it. Right now I'm doing HSU class, Holy Spirit University class, Love and Respect, and then I'm learning so much. Wow, I didn't know this. That's why I suffer so much secretly. And I have this confession is coming also.
Who's in our class? Do you have Jung-san? You're in the class? Hey, Jung-san's our assistant, right? Hey,
and some of them have very, it's something like a Women Day. This morning you shared about like women, not just women. You talked about Asian, right? Asian people, they have a one way at home and the other way in public, and this is a big problem. And he had a struggle. And I think many women, they also, married women especially, they suffer the one way at home and the other way in public. So they suffer so much, and then they know, even though anybody else know, they themselves know, it's it's a constant struggle. But I think the Love and Respect, that teaching really, it's centered on God, centered on Christ. So it really lets you, it blocks all the holes that we can escape, right? It just makes you confess, okay, I'm the problem. Okay, I gotta fix it like this. So in that way, I thought if that program was really good. And then he also called out, wow. Dr. Eckridge also called out what's wrong with the feminism. I think that is another one that I thought it was very excellent, because without whether we admit it or not, all the women, I don't care whether you're from Africa or from Europe or Asia, South America, or wherever, or America, it doesn't matter. Women are brainwashed by feminism, and period. And I can admit that. We are taught to have nobody asks, so what kind of mom do you want to become when you get old? Nobody asks you that question, right? What do you want to become, in terms of occupation, right? So that is a normal norm. And then girls, the motherhood is a second thing, right, in their life. Getting married is second thing. But the career should be the first one. And if you fall into this Bible-based, womanhood and the motherhood, then you are some kind of ancient relic or something, right? They actually treat you that way, and they make that how to say, they make that kind of atmosphere. And then I share this in the class too. It's very hypocritical. Feminism movement is very hypocritical, because some of the top feminist movement leaders are all flipping their position in the end. Gloria Steinem. She said man is like bicycle to fish, right? Man is to woman is like a bicycle to fish. That's the famous quote that she said. And then she got married when she was 60. And that's okay. And then someone like Betty Friedan, she's 60, is a feminist icon, and she divorced and she had 3 children and then blah blah blah. But at the end of her life, she said, you know what? Actually, for children, mom and dad and mom family is the best environment. She admitted it. And the feminists never want to talk about that, right? And then Germaine Greer, I believe. She's a 70 feminist movement icon. And at the end of her life, she's like, when she was like, no, not at the end. She's like, when she was 40, she wanted to have a baby so badly. It's like someone that she has, somebody, some other being who has the same face that she has, that she can really pour her heart in. She wanted to have a baby, but she got too old to have a baby. So I know it's politically not correct to say, women should get marry early. I know this is not politically correct. And then I know some girls will feel, so uncomfortable. She's just saying that because she got married early. And I understand that. But I say it anyway because it's good for you. Because, the reality is for men, when they're 80, they can have a baby. This is a reality. But for women, when they're like 45 years old, they cannot have a baby anymore. So they only have about 20 to 25 years. And after that, they can't have a baby. So that's something that we have to think about. Okay, so many women nowadays, they spend their time to building their career. And don't get me wrong, it's good. It's good for them to be in the, in the job, world, and then they have occupation. And many of my friends has a job. They're a teacher. Some of them are lawyer, whatever, right? But it's something that we have to think about, that our children needs mommy until they're 6 years old. And then, okay, what will bring me the most happiness, and then what will bring me the most glory, how to God. When you just sit back and think, just look at people around you guys. Just shut your ear for a second from this popular media and then what they have to say, and just sit down and look around you and look at people around you and how they are living their life. Right? Instead of, okay, so this is a popular thing that I have to do it. And many times we do things out of just brainwashed by mass media, the popular media. So it's something that you just sit down, okay, so why am I thinking this way? Actually, many times we are brainwashed by popular, culture. And then whenever a king says something different, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear King's Report anymore. Like this, right? I don't know, this is comparable to where I'm in, like this, right? But it's the fact that it is challenging you. This is a good thing, because the reason that it's challenging to you is because something that you have in your brain is conflicting. So you gotta sit down and think about this and sort it out. And then we all have a brain. God gave us brain. Somebody the other day he said, God, husband said to wife, God made a woman beautiful but stupid. Right? That's what he said. Okay, she's very pretty brave, right? But the wife said, you know what? That's because God made me beautiful. That's why you can love me. And then He made me stupid so that I can love you. I don't know. I totally agree with that. Okay. God gave us brain, right? And then there are many smart ladies, right? The brilliant ladies. Okay, I'm not agreeing with that joke, okay? I know you are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but we gotta think. We gotta sit, and then we gotta really think about this, because we don't wanna end up having this a flip flop. Yeah, we don't wanna just follow this brainwashed feminism idea, and then we will just leave our life up to that. Okay? And then later on, when you become 50, 60, you cannot fix it. Okay? You cannot fix it, sisters. So I know this is not politically correct to say this. I know some of you guys might hate me because I said this. But you know what? Just look around and just sit down and think about this for a moment. Instead of just brainwashing, just mindlessly just following, oh, you know, my friends do this, so it must be okay living with men. Oh, you know what, my sister does it, so why not? I can do it. Okay, you know, instead of that, this is your life, okay? This is your life. And your decision will impact your whole life. So that's why I'm saying this, okay? And I'm saying this because I love you, sisters. Okay, so I can see a lot of young sisters, so this is why I know I'm gonna stop nagging. Okay. I'm gonna let our king speak. Okay.
Wow. Great. Oh. Lean on this. That means I'm so heavy. I'm deceptively heavy. Oh my goodness. Well, it was great to see everybody. We had a good practice. How do you young people like the training today, huh? Was that good, huh? Yeah. Oh. It was like a waterfall. It was so sweaty. It was so hot today. It's like training in the tropical like jungle. Oh my gosh, it was hot. But always good to see the young people training. Some of you guys been training. Some of you guys been training. You see the queen with the Hutcherson Mariana over there? Yeah, hey, good job. Good job. Not bad, not bad.
I did not know she trained.
I know. She was surprised. She was like, "How come you guys?" Don't lie now. But it's very good to see. You know, we're of course in a very important time. You know, it was interesting because we were in international meeting on Thursday, and we were just talking with the continental directors about, hey, we have to start prayer teams around the world, like all around the world, because it's getting very intense. It's getting a lot of spiritual attack. You know what I mean? So we got to pray for each other, and there's a lot of spiritual activity, a lot of, you know, from the micro to the macro. You see what's happening on the macrocosm. You see what's happening with, you know, blowing, you know, Charlottesville. And then now almost every day, some city is having some statue of George Washington or Abraham Lincoln burned down. Right? And I mean, we just reported about this morning on the King's Report. We showed the pictures of Abraham Lincoln's statue just totally burned down. George Washington next, Thomas Jefferson, they're trying to get rid of his statues. You know, and if you want to say, okay, we have to get rid of the statues because they're slave owners, well, then you have to go after every Muslim mosque because the Prophet owned slaves. Muhammad owned slaves. Then you have to go destroy Mecca because he was a massive slave owner. And he allowed his followers to do conquest, that is to take over countries and to take slaves, especially women as slaves. Okay, so again, they're trying to set it up so it's all the white man's fault, all the white people are all racist, and all white people are trying to get you, and all the white people are trying to, because they want this whole situation to fall into the race riots. People get into tribalism, right? You probably get that in Canada too, right, you guys? All that insanity there. I think Canada, 4 times now, illegal immigration has gone up into Canada. But it's slowed down because of Trump here in the States. But you have a lot of spiritual attack, you know. You have Pastor Brown, who is one of the pastors that are praying for the president. And he was meeting with the president the other day, and he's out saying very clearly, he was told by some congressman that they're planning to kill Trump in 2 months. And he was told that 1 month ago. He came out in front of his congregation. He's an Australian guy who came to America, became an American citizen, and he loves the Constitution, etc. But he came out, told us while he's preaching. He told it while he was preaching. He was told by a congressman that they're trying to kill Trump. And of course, you have like Deputy Director of the FBI, Mudd. His name is Mudd, and he was on CNN last week saying the deep state, our government is they're gonna kill this guy. So you have very, very dangerous rhetoric floating around at the highest levels. You have, the worst political Satanists in the world funding radical terrorist groups like BLM or George Soros funded Antifa, this kind of thing, who just attack. The last year, just attacking white people for no reason. No reason, just attacking Trump supporters. Even if they're Hispanic, they're attacking them. Or if they're black, they're beating them up. So it's very crazy, and there is a lot of spiritual battle going on. And we know, of course, in September is the big sign in the heavens. That's from the NASA website. So I've shown you the videos 2 years ago, and how they will line up exactly how Revelation 12 says. Okay? And that is, if that is correct, then we are in the mid-trib period. Then we are in the time of tribulation in the mid-trib period. And it will only escalate after that. Right? I mean, when we told the Koreans that the Han Mother did what she does, Korea's going to be cursed, it's going to be judged. Nobody ever thought we were crazy. And they cursed us, mocked us, you name it. But within 3 years, the nation is complete political chaos. They had to remove their president, and now the socialists are there, the communists are there. So as you can see, God is bringing back his foundation, and we've had very good guests and friends on the King's Report this week. Some are very, very powerful people in this area, and more will be coming. True Father made that entire worldwide foundation. Okay. And in the end, those people, if they were moved by the Holy Spirit at any point by True Father, then they know that what the Han Mother is doing is wrong. Some of them, of course, want just the money. They want to go to the big events. They want to go to the hotel. They just want to feel like they're important, going to some paid-for trip. Okay, but the ones that have truly a love for True Father, know who he is, know he is the Lord that has returned. They are reaching out again. And they'll start connecting back. We have, for example, General Clayton, who is a Philippine general, with 4 or 5-star general, some very high-level general. And he is now the head of Veterans Affairs in the Philippine government. He is very high level in the Philippine government. And he will be coming in September to greet me and come to the palace and also get a report about what's happening. He watches the King Report, he said. The Filipino sisters went to him and they're, General Clayton, we want to explain to you the situation with the Han Mother. He said, I already know, I watched the King's Report. so it really, it's really wonderful. But that's all Father's foundation. It's all Father's foundation, and these people are very honorable people, and they're, step by step, Father's reconnecting his foundation back. Because there's no legitimate, all the other groups, they're not legitimate successors. And it's not like I chose or put a crown on my head. Not like I chose myself to be the successor. I never wanted that. I just wanted to spend time with my father. And for Father, that was, of course, he had many tests that he gave me, things like that. But it's True Father that chose me as a successor. So sometimes I feel like it is, sometimes people may feel like boasting when I say I am the second king or I am successor inherited by, Father's direct inheritor. Teishinja means represented by. But I'm just stating a truth. Those are the titles that he gave me on multiple occasions, crowned me in 3 different ceremonies, the same ceremony, 3 times. 3 times. That was very uncomfortable to do, by the way, because I have so many siblings. Very, very uncomfortable. But really, it's not about my feelings. It's about what the Father decides. And so, Father has led us and has brought us into Pennsylvania. Just the movement of his Holy Spirit and the power of his working. And the Bible says God is faithful. Father's fidelity to the promise he gave us and the mission he expected us to continue on. Even though, there's now a sister here who is, was in the 172. That's one of the pastor's clergy's wife. And even now those testimonies starting to come out. She was in a scenario where they were not translating what Father was saying. He was very upset in Las Vegas. And she asked the translator, what was he talking about? I want to know. Because she believes in him as the returning Lord, as a Christian minister's wife. And the translator said, oh, I don't know, we're not supposed to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Because they were told to be silent about it. And somehow she was rooming with the person or something like that. And so she dug it out of the person. The person said, yeah, Father said, if mother betrays me, you must throw her away. That's her words of what she heard from that person. That's how serious. People don't understand. That's how serious he was getting. He was getting real serious. I've shared with you over the years the unbelievable, episodes that were happening. And very, very opposite to what the public image of what Dying Mother was doing was. Completely opposite. Anybody who were in the Las Vegas Hood kids who were told to put their phones away and put their recorders away and were there, told to shut up about it. But it was getting very bad. She was definitely filled with the spirit of, different demonic forces, and definitely filled with rebellious spirit towards Christ. And we can see what happened. We can see exactly what happened. But we are in a very serious spiritual time. So it is very important to pray for one another. It is very important for us to be praying as a community for one another, to keep us in prayer. We keep you in prayer. Praying for our families that are here. And just names, just even mentioning the names as you report to God in the morning and things like that. That kind of thing is a very important thing. Amen. It's not like you're just remembering somebody's name. Oh, I remember this or that person, or they're my friend, this kind of thing. You are when you're reporting to God, you're bringing those who are close to your heart, who you're praying for, on the altar. And you're asking God to, in His own decision and His own timing, God is in control. God can decide what He wills. To notice them if He wills to do so. Of course He does, but it's the heart of affection for the remnant of the people of God who has endured the persecution, the mockery, the name calling, all that. So it is really important, And so even when you guys had that whole scare here at the camp, Larry's boy? I was telling Larry the other day, at midnight this morning when I saw him. It was interesting. We were meeting with the conjoint directors, and then boom, this kind of thing happened at camp. And then all the people were saying, okay, we want to start organizing prayer groups, and just the fact that we start moving in that direction, boom, we get a call and say, he's found. So being able to pray for one another is a really absolutely critical thing. I would also suggest if you're parents, you live with your kids still, you pray for your kids, have them pray for you. Your kids can pray for you. It's rare. Night before you goes, mommy has to go do this, mommy has to go that. Why don't you pray for me? I want you to pray for me. You want to deepen your relationship with your children, not just have oh, how you doing, baby, this kind of thing. That's fine, but you want to get deeper. And so, it's not all about, oh, I'm going to pray for you. They don't know what that means at that age. But if you instill in their heart, hey, you pray for me, you pray for dad, you pray for mom. We got a big thing this time, and it's a great time where the Holy Spirit can guide you to share things that are going on, what you're working on, or whatever, to your children. And so they know, it's kind of like reporting to one another. They know what you're doing, you know what's up, and they know what's up. So when parents ask their children, pray for me, they're not going to be, excellent prayer warriors yet. But even the small prayers, to keep you in their heart, and also to pray for you, whatever struggle you have, honey, I got this big meeting coming up, whatever it is, And can you just pray for me? You want to empower your children like that, you want them to understand they have to, at one point, they have to become sovereign, they have to take on that spiritual leadership role for their family. So you want to help raise them, train them, so they also realize that they have the power to pray too. It's not only the priest, it's not only the daddy, it's not only the reverend, it's not only you see what I'm saying? Is that we have the power to pray for one another, and to have prayer as power. So God answers prayers, God moves, but he doesn't answer in our timeline of how we want it, what time we want it, or the timeline we want it. It's not up to us there's a wonderful saying that God loves you too much to give you what you always pray about. Right? Because people pray about the stupidest things sometimes. It's like, can you imagine if your child was like saying that to you all the time? Like with the crazy prayers. God loves you too much to not answer those kind of prayers. So it is important to involve your young people and your children. Ask them and instill within them they have power. They have power that's beyond what they think. Of course, when they train dangerous martial arts, stuff like that, they learn they have power. But also, it goes beyond that too. We are the unique creation of God that is eternal. We transcend this physical life. We transcend this earthly plane. We transcend this creation. We will live on. We will live on eternally. The creation does not. There is a death of the universe date. So, simple things like that. Well, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to pray. No, you don't have to. Can you just pray that mommy has a good meeting? 3 words. You can have this guy pray for you like, sweating, and he's going, and Jesus, I want him to be healed, Jesus. And you go home and you just like collapse. And God doesn't answer those prayers. So you can have, it's not the intensity of the prayer. It could be the most simple prayer if it's done with sincerity and honesty and truth. God hear it. He says, you know what? Now, if you can pray in a way that is also can inspire that person, God will use that too. If you have a charismatic style prayer, God can use that too. To give and encourage that person who's receiving the prayer to go beyond their doubt and fears. So God can use that. I'm not saying don't pray like that. You've got that gift, you can pray like that. Nothing wrong with that kind of prayer. But you don't have to expect your kids to all of a sudden be Reverend, Reverend Moon, like praying. Even if it's a very simple prayer, you can say that was, you can encourage them, taking that step into the spirit world, into the spiritual realm. Because that's a dangerous place. There's a lot of attack there. There's a lot of different beings. We know there's not only good beings, there's bad beings too. And they will try to tempt you and woo you and bamboozle you and deceive you and try to lie to you. That's why, for example, when things break down in society, suicide rates go up. So don't expect your kids are not going to be dealing with that if times get harder and harder and there's more chaos in society. You may have a demon trying to get your kids to, hey, come on, you be a hero. Yeah, come on, you just take your life. And then everybody's going to be like, you're going to be some kind of martyr. Trying to poison your kid like that. When you know that suicide is just destructive for everybody, including the child. But for everybody else too. But in these kind of times where there's a lot of spiritual attack, there's a lot of spiritual activity, there's a lot of spiritual signs that are not happening. And of course, the 923 thing, Revelation 12. This country is not going to get better anytime fast. You understand that, right? It's not. We're out in the countryside out here, so we're far removed from these places that are blowing up. But you understand, like, if you see the video from even Charlottesville, it looks like a different country. That does not look like America. People in helmets, fighting, punching each other, hitting each other with clubs, sticks, spray paint, spraying each other with mace. You know, this doesn't look like America. It looks like some kind of imploded Eastern European country or Russia or something like that. Doesn't look like Virginia. It's here. It's right here on your doorstep, folks. You can't be brain dead about it. You know, we have to be awake spiritually. We have to be awake. We have to be spiritual warriors. Just like we train hard doing the physical warrior stuff, we have to be trained hard like spiritual warrior too. And that doesn't mean you want people to worship you because I'm praying for everybody, and so everybody should respect me and acknowledge what I'm doing for prayer. Well, then it's about you. It's not even a prayer then. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you do your prayer in secret, like Jesus said? Just don't tell anybody. You pray and pray for them. The ones who, I don't know the prayer for everybody. I'm praying. Why doesn't anybody know? You're not praying. You're glorifying yourself. Right? So you want to teach your children to steer away from that type of Pharisaic behavior. Like Jesus did. You know? But it's natural, especially when you're encouraging them. Oh, thank you for praying for me. Thank you. You're acknowledging the prayer. Of course, if they get only that, then they'll start thinking every time they pray for somebody, they have to be acknowledged and they have to be thanked. And no, but that's not how Jesus said to pray. So you don't want, of course, you want to empower your kids to pray for you, but don't get them get spoiled and do it for their glory. You know what I'm saying? You got to also give them the balance of that, which is, okay, you're praying, but sometimes you should pray. Well, Jesus said, he said it very clearly, pray, go in your closet. He said, go in your closet and pray. Don't do it in front of people. Stay in your room and you pray in your room. Nobody has to know about it because God knows about it, and that's enough. That's enough. In the end, it's not the people around you that's going to answer your prayer anyway. If it's going to be answered, it's going to be by God. So trying to get credit from people around you is a useless thing. It's just self-worship. So we don't want to do that, obviously, right? But again, even the spirit world is a very, how do you say, mimyohan. It's like it's a very sneaky place too. There's a lot of sneaky traps. You know, when you guys are learning BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or MMA, or these kind of combat, you realize there's a lot of traps, a lot of secret things. If you don't know those worlds, you get stuck, you get caught, you don't know what's going on. Right? And you'll feel for the first time like totally controlled. How many people felt that in your training? Not necessarily today, but generally. Right? You'll feel like totally controlled. Whatever you do, already that person, if they're higher level, they're way ahead of you, right? But that you have to understand that's like the same, that kind of combat is the same in the spirit realm too. So we think we're going down this way and it's working, but you're getting sucked right into a trap. Just like when you start learning how to do real combatives. You think something is working, but then all of a sudden you get stuck in a trap. And you don't know what happened, but all of a sudden you can't breathe and you're suffocating and you're getting strangled or you're getting crippled. Right? How many people for the first time got choked out today? First time. You felt that, right? You guys felt that first time? You know? But that's like, so there's like those kind of traps if you don't know that landscape, that universe. And it's really the same with the spiritual realm too. So empowering your kids, we want them to grasp their spiritual power because that's where their strength comes from. Especially when they compete and they have to fight other warriors. My gosh, they better be praying. They've been praying. We've been praying for each other. That's where the battleground is on, And that kind of dimension of praying for one another and asking God to be present in the strength of one another. Because it says, the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. When God is happy, I am strong. Yes. And it's a supernatural strength. It's not like a normal strength. And people say, oh, that's no, it's because especially when you're higher level, all the skills cancel out. Like higher level guys can block everything the other person's trying to do. Everything. They can block everything. They know the whole universe. Basically, right? So you'll see they just go back and forth, and there's no clear winner. But then it's that difference between the spirit in the end. That creates the victor. Because at some point, the skill level balance out and cancels each other out. And in the end, now it's a difference of character, now it's a difference of spirit, now it's a difference of how strong you are mentally, all those kind of things. When the skills cancel out. You know? So it is very important to encourage, your children to pray for you, especially during this time, If you think about it, even as adults, and we're I would say very faithful adults who do rimas and study Hunduk everything, but still think about it. If you think about it, maybe minus lunchtime and some other times intermittent during the day, we really don't pray that much, if you think about it honestly and objectively. Right? And that's adults who have a much stronger faith foundation than young people. Right? So you want to definitely encourage that type of lifestyle into your family, just like when you train, combatives like this, then you incorporate different lifestyle changes into your life. Like your life transforms tremendously. I mean, the Queen has transformed tremendously. I mean, she's just like all around. She's like become a warrior in so many different aspects, And your life does change. It starts transforming, and you start getting shaped into a stronger being on this planet. You know what I mean? That's of course what Peace, Belief, People Issue is all about. So you want to incorporate your kids to understand also the spiritual dimension. Ask them to pray for their siblings, ask them to pray for you. And it doesn't have to be long prayers. You don't have to say, oh, that was too short, this, with that, It doesn't have to be long. It could be as simple as, Mommy, I pray that you will return home safely. Aju. Just like something simple like that. It's fine. You know what I mean? But we don't want to be in a situation where we're only praying when times of crisis. Because God has a lot of prayer calls when it's time of crisis. You know what I mean? And depending how deep your relationship with Him, He may listen to others over others. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that people know that you're praying for them is already a spiritual uplifting in their spirit and their soul. They know, the spirit world knows, they know, somebody's praying for me, Look, we all need prayer, none of us is perfect, everybody needs prayer. It's not bad if people are praying for you, don't feel like, oh, they're praying for something wrong with you. No! They're praying for you, there's a power in the prayer. Power, supernatural power in people under God and Christ. There's supernatural power that extends beyond us and our physical shape, our physical outline. You know what I mean? So it is very important. It is a very important time during this more and more, every day by day, more chaotic time, that we are praying for one another. That we're praying for the macrocosm too, praying for Trump, President Trump. His life is under threat of death. You have the deputy director of the FBI who hates him come on CNN and say that the government's going to kill him. That's a quote. This government is going to kill this guy, end quote. How can they say that on TV? That's crazy. Can you believe in another country if the FBI deputy director comes out and says that? That's incredibly insane. We've never seen this in America. Never seen it like this. There's always been a smooth transition of power. But the left and the lunatics have just continued to drive more. And they say they're fighting against fascists. You know what fascism is? It's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a fascist. Fascism is state and corporate collusion. Who is that? That's Hillary Clinton. That's Obama. What, these kids are smoking too much weed, which has been legalized in many places. And they're going there to smoke. They're brain dead. They're completely brain dead. They don't know what the heck even fascism means. They think Trump is a fascist because he wants sovereignty, because he wants free markets, because he wants to protect the human labor pool in a certain country. What does that mean? That means he's able to bring up higher salaries for people in the country. I mean, so that these people have no understanding of what it means to be fascist. They don't realize they're the ones who are fascist. They're the ones calling for centralized control. They're the ones calling for censorship. They're the ones who are calling for no debate. They're the ones who are calling for violence. They're the ones who are literally acting like terrorists, like ISIS, you know, burning George Washington and Abraham Lincoln statues down. That's like what ISIS does. So they're just, it's so insane. What's it, you know, everybody knows Lourdes. Lourdes' daughter was in Virginia when that thing was blowing up. Like Charlottesville, she was right in that area. I guess she goes to the university or somewhere near there like that. You know? And like for the first time in her life, she acknowledged, wow, because her mom has been talking about prepping and stuff like that. Wow, you know, maybe you were right, Mom. Because she saw the freaking riots. She saw the fights outside. She saw the shields. These people coming with shields and helmets on. You see this? They're coming ready to go to war. It's only escalate. This next time it's going to be knives, batons. Next time it's going to be larger weapons. Next time it's going to be guns. These kind of things can escalate very quickly. And this is in these United States of America, which we never thought would ever get to this state. We thought this was Latin America, or this is Eastern Europe, or this is Russia, or this is Africa, or something like that. We didn't think it was Virginia. So it is more important, it is absolutely critical that people, understand that in the end, you are your first line of defense. God is there with you, but if you have to do your 5%, you are your first line of defense. When somebody tries to do harm to you and take away your sovereignty, you are the first line of defense. And whether that means you're preparing, thinking about preparedness, or you're thinking about things to even carry on your person, that would help you or help others in an emergency. That's not crazy. That's called being wise. I don't know why the world is trying to tell you that's crazy. That's wise. You're telling me if somebody fell down, cut their neck open on that door falling down, slash their neck open, their neck is bleeding out, you wouldn't be happy to have a hemostatic agent and a Band-Aid that can stop bleeding? You wouldn't be happy to have that? Or somebody's in a car accident, driving out of here, and they bash into a tree or something like that on the way out because it was dark, and their head smashes into the, and their blood is pouring like a waterfall, like a spigot, shooting out of their head. Every time their heart beats, it goes psh, psh, psh. And everybody's screaming, ah, screaming. Call 911. You're telling me you wouldn't be happy? Or you would think I'm crazy if the king had a hemostatic agent bandage that will stop bleeding, even arterial bleeding, large cuts, large bullet shots, wounds, doesn't weigh a thing. You would be happy that in my right pocket I got a tourniquet to wrap around if somebody has a deep gash cut in my pocket. This is called a trauma kit. It's called being a responsible citizen, especially when you're carrying a firearm, which is a massive amount of responsibility, a massive amount of power. It's called having the ability to deal with trauma So I was talking with Huno today. I've been talking to Kuchung about it, and I told him, you got to carry this stuff at the retail store. He agreed. Huno's going to order and stuff like that. So anyways, the point is, it's not only about having these responsibilities and the different levels of preparedness and ability. One has to always also extend that beyond themselves. You may be the first line of defense, or you may be a first responder for somebody else. What if your friend walked down the nail and they dropped the nail, hit them in the head or something like that? Right? Or they had some massive, let's say, God forbid, some animal attack out here or something, which is very rare, but let's say something like that happened. Some black bear attack. It happens. I mean, Colorado is happening more, but it happens once in a while. Don't freak out at night, kids. Don't worry. It's very rare. It's very, very rare. As long as you don't do stupid things and walk towards baby black bear cubs, then you won't get killed. Just don't walk toward black bear cubs. But just having a general awareness for the well-being of other people. I mean, that's it's not only talking about it, it's about being the level of responsibility that people as citizens of Chanigu, even though we don't have a sovereign physical nation yet, we're still in the image and spirit of Chanigu. That kind of emergency, preparedness doesn't only benefit you as a first defense for yourself. What if your baby? What was it? The Hutchersons brought their baby. Where's the baby? Where's Hutchersons? What's your sister's name? Jamil. Danila. Is that your baby? That's your baby, right? That's your grandbaby. Grandson. He's the boy that flies around all day long because they don't put him down. Everybody's handing him off. Very cute, getting big. And Greg saw him and said, "Whoa, you've been feeding him hamburgers or something?" Steak. It's getting big. So we encourage your sister to train. Her husband training, but encourage her to train. She step up too. And then when she gets older, and her son gets older, and she can physically communicate with a son in a way that the son can feel love by wrestling with him, choking on his neck, and doing all that loving stuff. I mean, that's how boys communicate, physically. That's why this whole thing about zero tolerance for violence and don't let boys fight, it's crazy. It's nuts. Boys learn so much by fighting. It's so critical. I mean, girls do too, right? Girls, you learn a lot when you do fighting training. I mean, people learn a lot when you do fighting training. This whole lie of zero tolerance for it, that's not how you make bully-proof kids. By telling them the state is going to come to swoop and save you all the time. No. You bully-proof your kids by making them ready for that situation. So it is important, that our Chanigu culture too is that we're the image of Chanigu. Even with Jamal and Lourdes' case, we're moving forward with that in jurisprudence. That's like the first time in our church history where, we're moving forward with that with due process. That's very good. That's a huge step. Obviously we're not the actual sovereign nation of Chanigu where we have a Congress and a Senate, and we have a duly elected president and, etc., the General Inspector's office and the King's office, all those kind of things. But that will be set one day. No question about it. I mean, we've been talking to VIPs about this stuff, and it's like, they're shocked. They're like, we were talking with Vince. He's the owner of 12 radio stations, very young man, handsome young man, very successful. He was in the intelligence and the Air Force, just tremendous young man. And we were talking about it. And he goes, it's a really, America's, he was saying, America's sliding, I don't see it ever going back to a founding. It's going to become more and more socialist. It's just inevitable. And then he said, it would be so important that it would be so great if America had a cap on government. That means that it cannot grow beyond 10% of GDP. And everybody at the table was like, here, Vince, look at this Constitution here. That's right in the Constitution, page 23. Bam, right there. Tim Elder is right there. Yes, we have it right there. Boom. And Vince looked at this and said, oh my gosh, wow. Where is this nation? I want to move. People who understand sovereignty, they understand how important that kind of thing is. And it's so easy to explain to these people. These people they're just dying and wishing that we can even go back to something close to what the Founding Fathers had. When they see China go, even though they're Christians, they're Catholics, whatever denomination they may be from, when they see it, something hits them in their spirit. They know, wow, this is really the kingdom. You know, it's a kingdom of freedom, free association, free markets, free, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. It's a place where citizens are armed. You know what I mean? Lou was asking, Lou Kazakoff, he's the head editor of the Independent Gazette. Lord is bringing wonderful people, by the way. And we met with Lou many times, and he's been very supportive. And he's known as Libertarian Lou. He has his own radio show all the time. The point is, he was talking about how do we work on the North Korean situation? How do we deal with that? And we told him, well, our father was here, and he had us as Cain and Abel, and they're Christians, so we could talk to them in the exact same way we talk to you. Exact same way. We talk about Christ, we talk about Cain and Abel, we talk about all that stuff, and they completely understand. And we're saying, when Father placed us as Cain and Abel in Korea, we had a clear mission. We were going to split the elite. The elite must be split up. If the elite is allowed to stay together, and just the people revolt, you get what is the Cain-type revolution. You only get what happens in the French Revolution. You get the people get rid of the government, but then they become the new corrupt government that comes in. That's exactly what you get every time. You can't have it only from the uprising from the people. You have to also stimulate the conscience of the elites. For example, the American Revolution. All the founding fathers of America, they were all elites. Did you know that? George Washington was a half a billionaire. He's basically a multimillionaire. $500 million net worth. Okay? And these people have to wage war on the Cain-type elite, who are the totalitarians. They want to make a communist state. They have to wage war on them and literally be the place where the people can gather around to fight them, from the elite level, middle class, all the way down the line. They have to be like this, the core where people can gather around, and they have, of course, resources which then go into the fight. Right? That's why the Founding Fathers said, we put on our life, we put on our fortunes, and we put down our sacred honor. And so we've talked about millions of times. Cook Chinim always mentions all the time the different strata of society. That's all Marxist strata, high class, low class, middle class, all this. That's not the real division in society. Okay, you can have high class predators who are trying to prey off of people and trying to rape them and do pedophilia. You can have middle class people who are trying to predate on people. You can have low class people who are trying to predate on people and trying to rape them and do pedophilia. Okay, it goes across all lines. That's not the division. That's the Marxist division: low class, high class, medium, high, all that, proletariat, etc. That's a false reality. The real reality is the predators. They're the problem. The predator goes from high class to low class, middle class, everything in between. The point of the good people is to identify those predators and know that they are an existential threat to their civilization. You really can't have wild wolves who are trained by other wild wolves to live in a play box or playpen with farm sheep. You may, if you raise the wolves for years, now they become dogs, then they may live fine with sheep, but not a wild one, not wild ones who have been trained by predators. No way. It's going to be feasting every day, having steak every day. And that's what democracy becomes. Democracy becomes two wolves deciding what's for dinner. There's one sheep, there's two wolves, and the wolves are the majority, and they decide what's for dinner. Guess what? Not a big surprise. What do you think's for dinner? Lamb chops, baby, with butter, fricassee sauce, whatever it is. I'm getting hungry over there. I'm getting hungry after all that training thing. What you see is like it's not that division of society is a Marxist division dichotomy that is taught to everybody in the public school, mainstream media, all that. That's the false dichotomy. It's not low, middle, high class. That's irrelevant. It's predator versus normal. It's about Cheonggyu being the most dangerous and hostile place towards predators. They can be rich predators like Bezos and Bill Gates and Soros, or they can be poor predators like the guy who wants to traffic your children on a side street in the city or some, area. You see what I mean? So I'm making it as hostile and as dangerous for those type of demons. And so Christians know, they intuitively know when they hear about the Constitution, when they hear about the nation of Cheonggyu, they have no problem. I mean, you guys, everybody thought they had a problem with seeing me wear a crown. I'm wearing a Cheonggyu crown with my little fancy suit on. Why are you laughing at the fancy suit? Little fancy suit on. And they're there. They're talking. They have no problem with that. I'm telling them, when my father was, when he made me successor, he was trying to create a sovereign nation because he had seen the collapse of all of these socialist countries, and he lived in the totalitarian North Korea, and he saw even how America was being taken over and overrun by the same North Korean type of propaganda that he grew up with. And he just see it degrading. He knew exactly where it's going to go. It's going to go to what he called political Satanism, where the environment becomes okay to be a real Satanist, be a pedophile, be a child killing, according to the children. All that is fine. In Germany, the age of sexual consent is 14 years old. 14 years old without your parents' consent. We were just talking with Rich Urban today in Washington, D.C. 12 years old, you can have an abortion. 12 years old, you don't have to tell your parents about it, legally. 12 years old. Washington, D.C., boom, right there. 12 years old. That means you got to be banging somebody at 11 years old. You see how dangerous that is? And of course, the UN is trying to push that down, age limit down from 14 in Germany, 15 in France, 18 in America, bringing down to 17, 16, 15, 14, 10 years old. The UN is trying to bring sexual rights down to 10 years old. What do you think a child that is 10 years old knows about her own defense? They have no proper amygdala function at that time. They have no proper prefrontal cortex that can make them allowed to make long-term decisions, you name it. It's not developed yet. That child is vulnerable. That's why they need their parents to protect them. And they want to make it okay to a society where some crazy dude can walk up to your house, knock on your house and say, I'm here to date your 10-year-old girl. And that's why we have guns. I mean, this is insane. Oh, that world will never come. Berlin never thought that. They're now down to 14 years old. Washington, D.C. is now down to 12 years old for abortion. 12 years old. Goodness, how can 12 years old? They don't have to tell their parents. I'm sorry for being informed. It's like if you know things, you're seen as crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts. But this is the type of political subterfuge that Satanists use and political Satanists use. They bank on the fact that people don't know the reality, don't know the stats, don't know what they're doing, don't know what their organization is doing, don't know what they're pushing for because they're running these kind of sex trades. So it's very intense, always peering into the abyss. And of course, when you're always peering into the abyss, you get attacked spiritually too. Right? You get attacked. So we need your prayers. We need to pray for you. When you talk to people, when you have a meeting with somebody, or you're meeting somebody who you feel like, oh, God is telling me to give the Constitution. Hey, ask for people to pray for you. Ask for your children to pray for you. Say, hey, I need courage. I feel fear in my heart. Well, maybe you need to hear a prayer that said, God has not given you a spirit of fear. Right now, you need to hear that. Power, love, and a sound mind. Power, love, and a sound mind. That means a disciplined mind, a clear mind. Power, love, and a sound mind. That's what God has given you. Not a spirit of fear. He's given you power, love, and a sound mind. Bam! Who knew? Who knew? Maybe you need to hear that. Maybe one of you are praying for somebody right now that you need to share that with, the Constitution with, and you're feeling scared about it. So you need to hear that scripture. Boom. People who have conscience, who know they don't want to be overtaken by predators. They don't want predators to come in and, steal their daughters and rape them and, tell them that it's good to be raped by predators and that it's you should be grateful and you should worship them. This is ridiculous. That's the kind of society they're trying to make. You see what's happening in Europe. Women are being raped in Europe. A 14-year-old girl raped by a migrant, a jihadi migrant, who thought it was just fine. It's just, okay, you don't want to have sex with me? Screw you, I'm going to have sex with you. Raped this girl in the bathroom, and he didn't even get any time. And then the psychologist is telling the girl, well, he's been through this and this traumatic experience, blah, blah, blah. And then he's justifying this to the girl, and she's thinking, oh, okay, because she's only 14. She's thinking, oh, I guess I have to be compassionate and thankful that I guess so, okay. It's complete inversion of dominion of subject-object. It's completely taken away that girl's value and her ability to even defend herself, or to think that that's wrong. To be able to defend herself is wrong. No, I don't want to be racist, right? Especially if you're white. It's insane. Totally insane. So this is the type of demonic civilization that's trying to be actually created on the earth. Satan is the ruler of this world. But one thing about the tribulation period is that, yes, it does get more difficult, but there's a reversal of dominion. Yes, many people lose their life. Yes, many people get beheaded. Yes, you'll probably see a rise in more and more jihadi attacks during this time, which you saw just in Barcelona, over 100 injured, 19 dead in Barcelona. Just this, yesterday. While everybody was here enjoying steaks and whatever, eating your lasagna. Who had lasagna yesterday? Was it lasagna yesterday? You guys are just totally spoiled with Mary's cooking. Yeah. Wow, Mary's amazing, isn't she? But while you guys are okay, all their kitchen folks helping to pour in with her Thai tea, bubble tea, and oh my goodness. So while you're sipping on your bubble tea, they're chewy little bubble duck little, what is it, the rice cakes. These people are being mowed down in Barcelona and in Spain. And by the guy saying, Allahu Akbar! And then all the news says, truck attack, van attack. It's the van's fault. It's the van's fault that it just mowed people down screaming Allahu Akbar. Give me a break. Ridiculous. You can't even say that this type of civilization is dangerous for the safety of vulnerable people who don't agree with that civilization. So it's just too intense and too insane. I know probably more than anybody just want to get away from it sometimes and just not think about this stuff because it would be so refreshing. But you got to stay in the fight.
Yes.
Every time you stop, Satan's running 3 steps forward. So that's why working in teams and working in groups and everybody starting a YouTube channel and speaking out and voicing their view, releasing that atmosphere, even though you have 2 views. Who cares you have 2 views? Who cares? That's 2 people that can be a force multiplier for 10, 20, 30, 40, 80. It has nothing to do. Those YouTube views are there just to make you feel small. And they're wrong all the time. Do you see how they're always wrong? Yeah. You'll click on it and it says no views, and then you click on it, it says 20,000 views. Especially if the conservative voice. So it's all about Satan trying to intimidate you and bully you and make you feel like you're insignificant, you're useless, and you're stupid, and you're weak, and you're a minority. And it's not true. It's the silent majority that do not want totalitarianism on top of their head, ruling over their lives. It's a silent majority who wants to be free.
Amen.
And not be a part of some cabal and mafia, and, you know, as long as they can be in control. Normal good people don't want that. Normal good people just want to have a good time with their families, have nice evenings out, you know, camping with their kids, or do simple things, you know what I mean? Simple things of life, falling in love with their wife day in and day out, you know what I mean? These kind of things. Oh, stop it. Nose, you guys, nose. They started gazing into each other's eyes when I said that. No, I said, that's good, that's good. Hey, I'm just playing around, that's good. You know, it's like, but this is like so incredibly important. You know. So those kind of things in the tribulation time become really important to notice and become aware of. Also, you know, everybody can step up their game a little bit, you know. We may not be perfect at everything, but we can step up our game in little pieces here and there, here and there, here and there. You know, start carrying a bandage, you know. If you carry a gun, hey, it may save your life. What if you get an ND, a negligent discharge, and you shot half of your buttocks off? Well, if you're carrying an appendix carry, it's pointing down there. You got a misfire and it's pointing down there. You got some trouble. You got some trouble going on. You want to have a hemostatic bandage. You know what I mean? It's not only common sense, it extends beyond you, it transcends your own personal safety, and it also can extend to somebody else, right? Like that guy just a month ago, right? There was this guy that came into a restaurant shooting people up, and he went and the CEO came out the owner of the restaurant came out to try to stop him and shot him in the head. And a grandpa who was concealed carry armed, he was eating at the restaurant, Mexican restaurant, eating at the restaurant. He came around the corner and dropped that guy. He saved everybody else in that restaurant, a grandpa. So that's what's so wonderful about people in church culture. If you only do physical stuff, then the young people have the edge because they're so much stronger than when you get older. So if you have a culture which doesn't have arms, then the young people think the old people suck and they're weak and they're useless. You guys are old folks, you just wear diapers and fart all day. Even though the young kids fart like crazy, eat pizza and processed food. They know what I'm talking about. They just hide it better, that's all. They got some silent bombs. They're all laughing because they know it's true. But that's the problem, but when you, like for example, when Chief came, everybody enjoyed Chief. How amazing is Chief? Isn't it amazing? Wow. Praise God. God is sending such incredible people. I mean, Chief he's so in love with Father. It's amazing. It's so incredible. The Holy Spirit has completely touched him. He's completely in love with Father. It's wonderful to see. And then this is a man who is so incredibly knowledgeable and so well prepared. He's going to be training us on Wednesdays, at the palace. I mean, when are you going to be blessed to train with Green Beret Special Forces? I mean, wow. I mean, that's the world's top level. Just that kind of incredible. But think about it. He's an old man. And he was getting in his car and said, I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I'm tough. And I said, Chief, nobody doubts that you're tough. That guy has killed a lot of commies. Trying to, ravage, rape, pillage, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, you name it. Brother Sort, another Christian brother who joined Sanctuary as well, who got blessed. He lived through the Cambodia genocide. Like 80% of his family has been murdered in the genocide. But like people like Chief and all these kind of people who are that's a wonderful thing, even though he's old, every young person will respect him, especially because he's so skilled. And that's why it's important. That's why it's important to have these force equalizers, you know, these equalizers. We're talking with the girls right here, we're training. You know, the reason why I don't only just call the training I give them, it's not just BJJ. BJJ is very powerful, empty hands. But as soon as you add another layer of force and danger, like a weapon, it's now almost useless unless you know how to use it with a weapon. And it's so much more dangerous. Somebody has a little pocket knife, it's like totally different game now. You know? But it's absolutely essential. It's essential because, and girls are gonna, if they're getting assaulted by some big 250-pound guy who actually was a mixed martial art competitor and a fighter, and he's now fresh out of prison, and he wants to harm some young girl, what are they gonna do? Even with the training, okay, they may be able to fend him up a little bit, but what if he starts smashing, hitting them, grabbing bottles, smashing their face with a bottle? You see what I'm saying? The game changed complete. It completely changes. And that's why having the extra layers of defense on you is absolutely critical, especially for girls, for women. Have layers of force that are on them to protect their sovereignty. Because in the end, that's God's given sovereignty to you. You can't just let people invade that space, right?
That's right.
Even on the road trip, right? The kids were practically, when they went to the club for that challenge, they had to go, and some of the guys were trying to approach the girls, right? You guys saw that, right? Trying to approach you, touch you. Say, hey, baby, what's up? Hey, girl, let me get you something, whatever. They're trying to break that boundary of sovereignty. And girls, it's not necessarily sexual because the touch is not necessarily sexual for girls. They're used to touching, you know, hey, honey, how you doing? Oh, my sweet, your hair looks so pretty. You know, they're used to touching each other a lot, non-sexually. But for guys, that's not the case at all. When they touch you, it's going to be more sexual for especially predators. So the innocence of a girl, thinking in terms of a girl's world, is not going to interpret and understand that that guy is trying to invade your sovereignty, and he's starting to get in the layers of your sovereignty. He's getting closer and closer to your sovereignty. Trying to make you feel jealous that he's talking to that girl and not you. And to play that game with you, then he comes up close, you see? There's that guy, there's a super predator, what's his name? Dan, was it Bilzerian or whatever? That guy is, you know, posting pictures with him and the bikini girls all the time on Instagram. He was on talk radio talking about how he does it. How he gets girls to have sex with his crew of about 5 to 10 guys. It's very simple. He explained it. He said what he does is he gets a group of 100 girls. 100 girls. Okay? And then he has 10 of his friends come with him to the party. And it's all girls, 10 guys. So now what's happening, he's using the girls' insecurity and, you know, oh, she's getting attention from him, they start making the girls compete with one another to get the guy's attention. And so they get more slutty and more slutty and more slutty, and then you get a girl that wants to bang you right there. Just because you've changed a number scenario, you've used psychological warfare on the girls who don't know psychological warfare is being done on them. And now they're in a game of competition with these other girls all around, trying to get these males' attentions because they're used to going into a place and all the males are chasing after them. But now they're in this party and it's all girls, all beautiful girls, and it's just these 10 guys and all the girls are right after the guys. You see what I'm saying? See how he plays that? He plays you, girls. He knows your mind. He knows your psychology. He knows how you process information. He knows how you process and how you can feel insecure or jealous of other people. They play on that. They play on that to predict on you. So if you get invited to college or something, whatever, and you see a whole bunch of girls and a small group of boys, you better watch out. You better think, Dan Bilzerian, this is a setup. First of all, you shouldn't be going to those stupid parties anyways, right? But let's say somehow you're in that scenario or you know somebody who is, you can warn them, hey, be careful. That's how predator men get girls. That's how they play you. You see what I mean? But you could, girls, think about it. You can see how that actually would work, wouldn't it? If you be honest with it, they're going to make you feel jealous. They're going to make all these other women And that you have to compete for this small group of men's attention. And if you don't get their attention, you somehow feel less than all these other girls who are getting their attention. But in order to get that attention, you have to step up the game. You have to get more and more erotic, more and more, brazen, more and more slutty. And those guys don't care which one they sleep with, as long as she's a hottie. You see what I'm saying? They don't care. They want the one that's going to just basically run up to them on a party, strip their pants down, and start, going up on them. You understand? But there are predators that are out there, and they will play you because they know your psychology. Psychological warfare. So understanding these kind of things are very important because you want to be in charge of your sovereignty, you want to be in charge of your defense layers, right? And you don't want people invading that sovereignty, right? There's a sovereignty between husband and wife. There's a sovereignty that's free, and there's a liberation there, right? In a strong husband and wife relationship. There's tons of connection, tons of touching, tons of playing, tons of joking, tons of fun. Okay? But that's for the sovereignty of marriage. Right? That's where men who have the ability to seduce women, you can use it in marriage. For fun seduction and absolute sex, and romance, this kind of thing. But you don't use that skill. If you have it, if you have that kind of skill where you know how girls think, you know how to get, into their mind thinking, you know how to make them think of you, you know how to mess with their mind, so they can't, I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you did that to me. And they don't even know they're thinking about you all night long. Because you just played them. See that? So this is very, very important. Right? And also, girls, you may have a husband that doesn't know how to do those things. But that's fine. He can learn. Because girls obviously like to be romanced. But not a lot of guys are, if you're not going to be bamboozled by every guy that you're talking to get blessed to. And I met him. I didn't feel anything though. Well, that's because there's a guy that's been saving his purity. He's been deliberately trying to avoid girls. So maybe he's not that cool. So what? That's not where he's going to end up. That's maybe where he starts, but everybody get better over time if they're around the right people. And if you bring him in the King's training all the time, he will start learning. He will start learning. He will start changing. He will start embracing his masculinity, his playfulness, his, messing around with you a little bit. Why are you laughing over there, Chop Chop?
Because Bruce was making fun of me today.
That's okay. All right, don't bring a case against him, all right? You see what I mean? Yeah. Well, it's very important. I was telling this, some other younger people, look, when you first meet a potential spouse, because many of them are preparing for blessing, which is the greatest blessing, you can't expect them to be a black belt. You know what I mean? You can't expect them to be a black belt. Maybe a white belt. But that doesn't mean he can't get better. You have to look at the deeper things, the character of that person. Does that person have integrity? Does he surrender himself to Christ? Does he surrender himself to somebody like God, Christ? Does he train with the second king? You know what I mean? He's like my son. You have to look at these things that look deep into the future of your life. Not just, I didn't feel anything. I met him. Well, of course he's boring. He's been saving himself for you. Okay. Okay, so he's a little awkward. You don't know how to talk to girls. Would you like somebody who loved to talk to girls and always is flirting around? You know what kind of boys those are? Those are predators. They cheat and they're crazy. They sleep around. Very, 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 very hard to get somebody who saved their purity and at the same time can seduce a girl. Very, very hard. Because they haven't been doing that. You see what I mean? But it's very important, especially young ladies who are preparing for marriage. You gotta understand, you gotta look at the character of the person. You gotta think of that, would he make a good husband? Would he be a responsible man? Does he know that, does he believe in the biblical teaching that a man who does not provide for his home is worse than an unbeliever? Somebody who's going to hell, he's worse than somebody going to hell. Does he have that kind of responsibility, sense of accountability? Will he be willing to stand there and fight for you, die for you? If an invader comes in, will he raise you up? Right? Will he lead you? Will he lead you in prayer? Will he lead your family in warfare against Satan? Okay, cut it away here. Why do we have to marry? Bless. It's the greatest blessing of God. The blessing is the greatest blessing. Remember, the blessing is not called happiness. For a reason. God does, even the Bible, look, the whole Bible, that God never promises married couples happiness. He doesn't say, my goal is to give you happiness. That's a pagan teaching. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says God will give you a blessing in marriage. But sometimes blessings can be hard. Sometimes blessings can get on your nerve. Sometimes blessings can, but if you understand what that is, then you'll realize as the time goes on what a blessing that person is. You know? The best thing is to allow yourself to be completely open to God. Right? When I was blessed, I said, no, Father, I don't care. I don't care who it is. I will be victorious with whoever. I have complete confidence. Nobody will defeat me. I will be absolutely victorious in blessing. I don't care who it is. Doesn't matter. I told Father that. He was so happy. I'm so happy. That's my boy. Give your testimony now. You know, he asked me to give testimony about all the Korean leaders because I wanted to get blessed. There was this stupid, crazy culture. Oh, you're getting blessed. Oh, you poor thing, you're being forced. Oh, you're so poor. Oh, you really, I know you don't want to get blessed. Oh, you're so poor. This kind of crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're sabotaging yourself. Why would you do that? You're suicidal if you're doing that. It's like going into some kind of, jiu-jitsu match. And I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm losing, I'm losing, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I know it. I'm going to lose. Everybody pray for me, I'm going to lose. That's exactly what you're doing. Why would you do that? It's insane. It's totally insane. Why not do the opposite and say, I'm going to be victorious. I'm going to win. I'm going to be victorious. It's going to be a win, 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 win. Because not only me going to win, she's going to win, kids going to win, everybody who gets in, our president's going to win. Why not put it that way? So it's not about that first meeting. All the movies want to teach you about, oh, it's that first meeting. There's looking. What did he say? Oh my gosh, there's an awkward moment. What will he say? He said it so sweet. Oh! That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It's probably going to be like, yeah. Oh, so you like dogs? Yeah. We have a dog. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, my grandpa has a dog. That's how it's gonna be. Don't get bamboozled by it, though. That's a great start. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you gotta be real. You gotta let God work. You can't put all these conditions on it. Oh, he's gotta be this, gotta be that. One girl told me, he's gotta be this height. I said, then he's gonna give you a midget. Then father's gonna marry you to a midget. He's gotta be this certain height. You ain't getting that. Best is just have no conditions on it. And don't be so judgmental, you know. That person who you see will not always be that way. I mean, look at you, all you girls saw it too in the community. The boys that train with us, train under me, they change. They become totally different boys, guys. They become different men. They embrace that masculinity. They learn how to do fighting and stuff like that. They learn how to do these kind of things, but they don't learn how to get arrogant and cocky. They're still humble. They transform. You know, so it's not always about the first meeting and the first, you know, like, what do they call it in the movie? They call it like, love at first sight. Love at first sight. Who can do a cat purring cat? Ah, they didn't sound like a cat. That sounded like a bobcat. It's not about the first meeting like that. You know? If you lower your expectations, you can see the different aspects that God is already showing you to that person. But if you have tons of expectations, tons of conditions you put on God, no, God, he has to be this way. He has to look like a model. He has to be 6 foot tall. He has 6'2". He's got to be 190 pounds. He's got to have abs. He's got to fight well. He's got to make a lot of money. He's got to be a CEO. He's got to be. Who the hell are you? What kind of dope are you smoking? Don't be like that. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're allowing the devil to come in. I tell you, all the people who put tons of condition, Father, I need this, Father, I need that. Their marriages suck. Terrible. Terrible. Why would God bless that? It's like you don't recognize my blessing? Okay, you got all these conditions. You might as well bless yourself. Because you're certainly not wanting my blessing. Because I know what's good for you. I can see your life eternal. I can see your life 10 years, 15, 20 years, 30 years down the line. And that man who you thought was a nutbag is probably at 30 years down the road, he plays in critical things. You know what I mean? So we missed the love and respect class this morning, I think, right? There was a love and respect class. I guess the Holy Spirit just pulled us right there. But it's like so important. But it's hard. It's very hard because I've seen it. Even though young people get this advice from me, they heard it. And it's funny, maybe saw the video and then they remember it when they see the video. But then they're meeting that guy for the first time, you know, that they're talking to, maybe a potential candidate, etc. And then everything they heard goes out the window. And then they're relying on their emotions, which are 100% deceiving them. Your emotions deceive you. You see what I'm saying? So this is so important for young people to realize you cannot rely on your emotions. You have to look at the deeper things beyond those emotions and feelings. Because feelings change very quick. Trust me, you can be married to Brad Pitt, but as soon as he starts opening his mouth about how we should be a socialist country, you may say, this piece of crap is a freaking commie. Or whatever. He wants to be hanging with Michael Moore all day long. I don't know. Little gremlin, you know, Jabba the Hutt, you know. In his little cargo pants. Oh yeah, I stand up for the small man. Yeah. freaking Michael Moore want to be a damn commie dictator. But looks fade very quick. I heard that, I think Emerson Eggerichs talked about it one time. He said the difference between a man, husband and wife, when the spouse walks out the shower. All right, so when your wife walks out the shower, buck naked, men, husbands, you know all the husbands going, oh, praise Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's normal. That's normal. You're not perverted. You're normal. You understand? God made you very visual. So, okay. But then a woman walks. You walk out. You may have 6-pack abs. You may be as tight as a rock, like the second king. I'm sorry, just not. Hey, don't play around. Don't play around. Choke your neck. Okay, but the husband walks out, and you may look like freaking GQ model. And the first thing the woman says, "You're getting the ground wet. Get the towel." Hey, you see that? You're not looking at that. When they're in the first phases, oh, he's so hot, he's so handsome. Oh, he makes me feel this way. That gets old very quick, girls. He's a bomb and he's a president and he's flirting with other girls. That gets old real quick. Trust me, you're not going to be bamboozled by him when he walks out the shower thinking, oh, baby, look at me. The ground is wet. Can you please wipe the ground, please? Whereas when your wife walks up and, holy Shemitah. Right? Right? So that's really a huge difference. So you can't be bamboozled by your emotions, because girls' emotions, when they see the very attractive man, he gives them so much attention. Oh, that's going to wear off so fast. What kind of character does this man have? What kind of seriousness is he? Is he a prayerful man? Is he praying for people? Hey, that tells you a lot about a man, doesn't it? If he's praying for other people. Right? Is he doing the Peace Police Militia training? Is he doing the training? Is he stepping up and doing it? Or is he always scared and running away? You'll be able to see. Look at the character of the man. Think about 10, 20 years later when you're getting old and wrinkly and clean. No, you're not. Look at the queen. She's 37. 38? Depends on Korean age versus English age. When she's 30, Korean age is 38. You're not 40. Stop saying that. Stop saying she's not. You always say she's 40, she's not 40. I get to make the rules of age. I'm just joking. Okay? But what about when your husband when you're 50, 60? You're going to be grandmas one day, girls. You're not going to be looking like you're teenage. You're going to have wrinkles. You're going to have probably a little belly fat as you work at it. What about if you get sick, you lose an arm, you get in a car accident, you have no more legs? Is that man you want somebody who just looking at you and seduces you, or just only gives you a physical, and cannot stand up for being a husband with integrity and honor through the hard times? What if you lose your legs in a car accident? Will that man stay with you? Take care of you? What if you get cancer, you're paralyzed, you can't move? Will he stay by your bedside and feed you till you die? What kind of man is he? Who does he surrender himself to? Somebody who surrenders himself to Christ will do that. It will be by your bedside even though you have the most debilitating disease, and they'll say, honey, I love you, and I thank God that he sent you in my life. But maybe that fool didn't give you a feeling when you first met him. Maybe he's talking about his dad's, dog, grandpa's dog. Awkward while you're trying to drink coffee together or something. Take you to some cheap old little place, buy you Diet Coke or something like that. Aspartame. GMO foods or whatever. But who knows? That may be the man who will stay with you when you're dying. You didn't think of that, did you? You gotta look beyond what you see now. Because every man can grow, every woman can grow. And guys, the same side. Girls too. Okay, that girl may not be some kind of model. But think about it, your lineage, your family, your children. Don't only get caught up in the visage, in the illusion of beauty. You gotta look for, you gotta see that person's values. Not only when things are going hard, you know, will she support you, that kind of thing. Will she respect your sovereignty? Will she respect? Will she see as her, does she surrender herself to God? Does she take serious the commandment to respect your husband? You guys gotta look at that too. You may be married to a beautiful girl, but she treats you like a slave. That gets old very quick. Right? Or somebody who will honor God, who will be obedient to God, will encourage you to take, you know, to be the priest and head of the house, support you. Somebody who is not just narcissistic, me. Right? You have to look at those things. You have to pray about those things. So it goes both ways. Can't just look at what's on the, you know, the outside of the feelings. Very dangerous, very dangerous. You have to look at the content of that character, the content of that person. Right? And then, of course, you have to ask God to guide you. You understand? Look at the people that have gathered here. We have already such high, incredibly quality people who've done the most impossible, difficult thing. You know, have been mocked and cursed and hated and literally have to lose all their friends and family, etc. You name it. We've all done it. So we show we're not just about talk. We show we're about being real, and we have to do things even though they're hard and politically not correct. We have to do it because it's the right thing to do, and because we love God. And then He comes first. Father's wishes come first, not the wishes of leaders, not the wishes of your children or the second gen, not the wishes of anybody else. Father's wishes come first. So you're already amongst a whole group of people and an ethos of people who are already of that caliber. Even though we're from all different walks of life, all different socioeconomic strata, it doesn't matter. We're the remnant. Crosses all race. It doesn't matter. You know, different races. It doesn't matter. So they're already in that culture. But remember, as things get bigger, you have not everybody at this high level. Okay. You have predators that start coming in. That's just a natural nature of, you know, of things. So that's why it's important for everybody to be aware that predators are always trying to seek to get in, always seeking to exploit, always seeking to, as the Bible says, Satan is like a lion ready to devour. Maim and devour. That means basically kill you and devour you. So he wants to sabotage you from every single step that you're moving towards your blessing, towards your eternal spouse, towards your powerhouse of transforming, creating win. He's trying to break that down. You have to look deeper, beyond your feelings, beyond what this guy makes you feel, beyond what this girl makes you feel, beyond all that. That's all illusions. That's a lot of pheromones and hormones and a lot of chemicals and a lot of emotion. Lean on the counsel and wisdom of people who already have very successful, blessed marriages. Lean on them. Ask them to pray for you. Ask them to speak to you objectively, honestly, that you're mature enough. I can take it. I can take it. Tell me if I'm making a mistake. I can take it. I don't want to make a mistake now that I have to pay for the rest of my life. Right? So we see, we're honestly, we see such high quality, even young people here too, very high quality. I mean, it doesn't mean you're perfect. Okay, don't get up on a horse yet. I mean, it doesn't mean you're perfect, but very high quality compared to other kids their age. But many times you'll find we have too many conditions we're putting on God, and that's why God is trying to bring people together for prepare them for blessing. But there's so many conditions. Bang, bang, bang. People are the ones that block it. Best way is to say, Father, I trust in you. I don't have any conditions. I either have no conditions. I told about it could be a handicapped person. I don't care. And then he gives me the queen. I mean, think about the Father, right? Think about the Father. See, I didn't say anything there. But you can sense the playfulness. You can sense. No conditions. If you be liberated from conditions, God can work. You put the more conditions you put on, the harder it becomes. The further your blessing goes. And it's not, I understand, it's not like you want a blessing for your blessing alone. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your blessing will be a blessing to others. You have a potential to bless not only your spouse, your children, but others as well, you understand? And you're losing all that because you put some conditions on. And now Father's going to give you a midget or something like that. I'll talk, no, I'm saying, anyways, when I say that, they know what I'm saying. Let's say, okay. The less conditions, the better. One thing we have to remember with relationships, they can always grow. They may be at some point, you may not be the closest, at some point, but hey, who knows? We may have, on the King's News Network, we may have the Lourdes and Jamal show one day. With your co-hosts, Lourdes and Jamal. There's your hosts, Lourdes and Jamal. It's the crossfire. The big debate between our two hosts, battling it down on the line. Stay with us as we see what Lourdes will say and how Jamal will respond. You never know how God will work. You never know. I may be giving away a secret. You see, you never know. That's going to have a lot of ratings, by the way, okay? That's going to get a lot of views. You guys are going to have a hit show. Okay, it's a relation like that. When God brings, even I'm talking about even on the first starting, even talking about the candidates level, you may feel annoyed at that person. Like that guy kept on doing this crazy, stupid, like shaking his legs like the whole time. What's wrong with him shaking his legs the whole time? But maybe he's just a little nervous. He's talking to a girl for the first time. trying to stay, his blood circulating. He doesn't want to go catatonic on you, and spill his coffee. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta give him a break. He kept on shaking his foot. Shut up! It's okay. Shake his foot. So what? Not a big deal. He started twirling his pencil. Well, you could say, hey, that's a pretty cool twirl. Can you do a different twirl? You could have twisted a different way. You're the one who chose to do it. Hey, I can't believe I'm trying to write pencil. Pencil. You see what I mean? So, it's best in the beginning, don't have tons of huge expectations. He's probably not going to make you laugh. He's probably going to bore you talking about his computer engineering program. He's probably going to shake his leg. Don't freak out. All those little things can be fixed along the way. Okay? It's not a big deal. What about the integrity? What about his character? Who does he look up to? Does he look up to his dad? Is his dad an honorable person? You tell a lot by somebody. If that son respects his dad and wants to be like his dad, you know that dad is an honorable person. Ooh, you see? That's a huge sign. Big sign. How are the spouse's marriage? Do they have a strong marriage? That's a huge sign. Huge. That's a really important sign. God will give you all these kind of signs, but if you're not aware to look at them, and you're worried about a shaking knee, or you're worried about, who knows, maybe he training jiu-jitsu last night, he busted his knee up and he's trying to shake it off. You don't know. Give him a break. I mean, get up on a stupid, I can't believe it. He had one button like up here and one button down. Shut up. It's the first time he wore a polo shirt, okay? He tried to dress up for you. Just be grateful. He tried to put on a polo shirt. He's wearing dirty jeans and a white t-shirt with, armpit stains all the time. And his mom said, put on that polo shirt, honey. She just didn't tell him how to do it, so he put the button in the wrong place. Oh, goodness. Those things can be fixed. Men can become very stylish if you teach them how to become stylish. That's not a big deal. If he trains under the second king, he'll become stylish. Okay? Don't worry. If he trains under me, he's going to learn how to be stylish. Okay?
Daddy.
Take step by step. Doesn't have to be all perfect in the beginning. And the same way, that's flipped up too. The girl is not going to be like the queen, understand? She's not going to have this bubbly personality and be able to talk about this and that and this and that. And understand men. I mean, you understand how the queen, even when she speaks to her sons, she doesn't nag them. Oh, yeah. See? You know what she does? She's so high level. She sets a time for a meeting. For example, she wants to talk about something with her son. She set a time. She'll say, 20 minutes I need tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Is that okay with you? She'll set a date. She'll respect that son's schedule, even though his schedule is basically composed of playing video games. That's irrelevant. As he thinks it's a schedule. Okay? Fighting some Pikachu is a schedule, okay? So she'll actually make a schedule. And she'll say, okay, it's me 7. And then she'll have a time clock right there. Mommy said 20 minutes, 20 minutes. That's high level. Then Even this year, what she did, she stepped it even one more further. She made a PowerPoint presentation. Why you laughing? It's true. I mean, that's high level. Girl, I'm telling you, it's high level. You can do that at a young age. Boy, you do that for your sons, they will love you. They will like say, this is like, nobody, all their friends will be bowing to you. She made a PowerPoint presentation. Talk about, so make sure she don't get emotional about it. And she has all the points there. What a brilliant idea. I mean, I was doing stand-up ovation. That was incredible. But like, she's not some kind of superhuman. She was just like all the moms who nag their kids to death, especially if you're Asian, and especially if you're Korean. But she has got to that level. Can you imagine that? I mean, think about it, as a son, if your mom did that for you. I mean, she prepared a PowerPoint presentation to talk to you. Think about that. I mean, think how grateful you'd be. Think about how you can't complain. And you realize, yeah, there's really not a mom like that. That's extremely high level. She's able to control her emotions when she talks to her son. And not, say, 20 minutes, but then it'd be 2 hours, 3 hours, and it becomes this huge. The girl thinks she's expressing herself and just getting it off her chest. The guy thinks, okay, I've heard now 2 hours of why I'm such a terrible person. They do not interpret it as, oh, you're just sharing. It's not how they interpret it. They interpret, you hate me bad. You really hate me. That's how they interpret it. Okay? So if you're doing that to your husband, you're going to kill him. If you're doing that to your sons, you're going to kill him. You're going to kill him. If you show deference to their schedule, even though you think it's stupid schedule, fighting, playing Call of Duty or some stupid things like that. In his mind, he has a little schedule. Oh, okay. If he's a video game nut or something like that, which is pretty sad, but anyways, if he is, oh, okay, I got this new game and I got to play it. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. So let's schedule an appointment. It's not that hard. I mean, that is showing a tremendous amount of control and respect for the other person. And she does that for our sons, our boys. Think about that. Anybody who grew up on a Korean mom, you never got that. You never got that. Are Japanese moms like that too? Are they like Korean moms? Well, it depends. I guess it depends on the mommy. But it's like, it's really, that's how she treats even her sons with respect. You can go ask them. That's some high level playing right there. And so there's not only an appreciation from the boys to the mom, there's a great sense of gratitude. She respects my time. She doesn't just diminish my time. I have a schedule, and I was keeping it. She acknowledges that. Boy, you don't know how, boys are so grateful for that. And of course, grown men are even more so. To respect, that they can't just jump into a conversation right off the fly.
But the point is, I was not like that from the beginning.
Yes, it's true, she wasn't. It's true, she wasn't.
I wasn't like that at all.
It actually took, and she told the story many times in testimony, but she was about to whoop our first son, what about 5 years old? What were you holding?
I think it was a hanger.
Was it a hanger? Okay, it was a hanger.
Okay, serious
It was a
story.
hanger. So she was about to whoop that boy, because, what was it that he didn't go down and do, what is it? The
I
Kiln
can't
Bay or something?
remember
The Kiln
what he
Bay?
did wrong.
It was something at the Kiln Bay. It was something in front of father.
Related to father.
made you feel very embarrassed, right? Yes, did that. Something like that. And then so she was gonna do the Korean way. It's called a chitiki. It's called a love stick. Okay. Come here, son. I love you so much. Come here. You see this? Yeah, baby. Get you with that boy. I love you. Now have your ramen. Oh Lord. I just got a couple cuts on my arm. Oh, don't worry, kimchi will solve that. Oh Lord. She didn't do. She never did that. But anyway, the point is that she was about to give him a little chick-chicky love stick, whatever they call it. And he was 5 years old, and he caught the stick. He caught it. And he wasn't even doing no ninja training at the time, but he bam, caught it. And she tried to pull it out, and she was like, he was not letting his 5-year-old boy. It's like, crap, this boy has a lot of power. I don't think this is going to end so well if you keep this habit of him. I told him, it's not going to end so well when he's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and he can lift you up and throw you out a window. This ain't going to work so well. Okay? But, again, the boy, even a 5-year-old boy it took that to really make her realize, wow, there's no need. And everybody knows, everybody knows I'm quite dangerous, even in empty hand martial arts. So I can easily beat up a little child. If I wanted to beat my kids, I could beat them. It's not like it's hard for me. Right? But we don't have to beat our kids. We just have to have clear consequences and clear.
Can you tell them after I never did?
Of course, no, she did. She was very good. She was very good. And I think she fundamentally realized there's no real need as long as you make the consequences clear. And you don't just get emotional about stuff. If they piss you off, you don't just say, no, you got punished, no more TV for a full month, or whatever, no more computer for a month. That's extremely emotional parenting. That's very damaging. It's very immature. Right? But you see a lot of parents will do that, right? How many parents have done that? Don't raise your hands, please. Don't raise your hands. Don't raise your hands. Lord have mercy on these. Very important, though, that you don't do that type of emotional parenting. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Very damaging. Right? But for example, if they did something, let's say, what drives moms crazy? What do they do? What drives moms crazy?
It was a rainy day and they just wear.
Oh, okay. They wear the shoes and come right in.
To the kitchen.
Okay, yeah. Okay. How many moms that piss you off, makes you angry? Rainy day, they got muddy shoes and they just run in, expect you to clean it. Moms, right? Good. Okay. So when that happens, she had to be trained. She had to be just like jujitsu. She had to be trained. She had to go. And so she had to stop getting emotional about it, and she had to see the mud and say, "Oh, okay, warning 1. That's it. Warning 1. That's it.
And clean it, right?
Warning 1. Oh yes, and warning 1. They have to clean it. So they don't get immediate, some kind of crazy, exaggerated punishment because they're kids. Sometimes they muck it up in their heads, and they're just having a good time running outside. Mommy, look at this frog I caught. Oh, Lord, and then they're in the kitchen. And they totally forgot about that. So they muck it up sometimes, right? But when that happens, it's not, oh, you turn, oh, give me that to beat you, you stupid child, oh, you get, like this. How many times did I tell you not to do this? You stupid little idiot. Like this. You get 10 years of detention now. I'm serious. That's very emotional parenting. That's very dangerous. And then you're hyper-emotionalizing your children. So then when they get to be adults and they become parents, they're going to become wacky too. But when they do that, you say, oh, okay, that's warning 1. What happened? Where do you want? You just point at it and they know. They already know because you talked about it already. So they're cleaning up and say, oh, okay. Then the next day they do it again. Oh, look at that, 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2. You see that? No need to yell, no need to get angry. Just 1 and 2. And then they do it again. Okay, there's 1 and 3. Okay, what was the consequence we agreed on? And when they're young, when they were very young, it was just, okay, you sit in the bathroom, lights on, everything on, save everywhere, just sit on the toilet, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes on the toilet. It's not a bad punishment, right? It's better than whipping your kids. So they get to sit on the toilet for 10 minutes. And then they realize they get some kind of consequence. And you didn't have to get emotional. You didn't have to make a crazy decision, which you'll regret, and you'll never be able to enforce a 1 month of no game, because they'll find other ways to play video game with their friends.
Now it's a push-up or like a running like a 3 times.
Sometimes it's push-ups, sometimes, and sometimes we'll ask them, what would you like to do if you get 3 warnings? So they can decide. They can decide. 100 push-ups. One of the kids said the other day, 100 runs around the circle. Okay, you want to do 100 runs? All right, you decided. Okay, I said maybe 20, but okay, you want to do 100? Fine. Okay, but there's a way to do it with consequence. Teach children cause and effect, but not relying on emotionalism. And then you're teaching what your children? Teaching them to be calm. Even though bad things happen, just stay calm. Don't worry about it. Right? This is what you guys learn when you do fight training. You learn how to stay calm, right? When you want to freak out, oh my God, you're freaking out. Stay calm, right? You learn that. Right? You stay calm. You don't freak out. And then these kind of things become a blessing to your children, and then they become a part of your culture. And then all my kids, they all know this system. They all do days with us. So they all have the system even in them, even though I don't even have to explain to them. Even, sometimes if I have to, I have to. But they all know it already. And without even them knowing, they will do it with their children. They won't be perfect at it, but they'll do it. In all those years of her training like that, then she's become so high level now. She just doesn't. The kids can purposely try to shock her, and she won't get shocked.
They're good kids. I have to.
Yes, well, you're a high level mom. That's why I'm a high level daddy.
I'm very grateful for it.
You got to remind your kids that you got a high level daddy and mommy. That's important to do too. Don't think it's boasting. It's true. You got to remind them once in a while. So even in time of tribulation, we're going to have these relationships. We're going to have them. There's going to be stressors involved in your relationship with this or that person, that your friend, your daughter, your son, whatever. But then how are you going to work that? How are you going to work that? Some of these young people are now preparing for blessing. Okay, what about your conditions? Are you doing all sorts of? Are you putting so many conditions that God is showing you the absolutely right person? Right there, He's already prepared. But you just have too many conditions you can't even see. Okay, well then that's something you have to work on. You have to start getting rid of those conditions. Letting God work. It is absolutely in how you manifest your 5% responsibility with God's 95% preparation, which is already done. Now it's how you decide that 5% principle says it's 100% effort. That last piece of the puzzle has to be put in by you. I'm not saying that God can't do it without you, but He includes you in it. Right? We don't want to get big on our heads. I can do it. I am the one that completed God. Oh, okay. Please take it with a grain of salt, all right? Right? Those kind of things, God can be working. Make sure you're not clouding your own vision on how God is working. Girls, you must not trust your feelings. You must not trust your feelings. They will lie to you. And the archangel will use them to lie to you. Boys, you must not only trust your eyes. They will lie to you too. Go ahead, sing a song. You want to sing a song?
Oh my Lord.
Oh my Lord. Oh Lord, Lord. Go ahead, sing it. Jam was a super predator before he got blessed. You know that? He was a super predator. He was hunting girls all the time. He said, he admits it in his testimony. He was hunting all sorts of girls. And God changed him around and flipped him around. He gave him his greatest blessing, which he didn't deserve. But he was a super predator. I mean, he was a bad predator. He was at that stage where he'd come around this community, he would be immediately targeted. we'd have all the all the men in this community would be watching him like real close. Who was a young boy. You see what I'm saying? But again, that's a very rare case that God transformed him completely to be a tremendous honorable husband. Even though some of you hate him because he fights with Lourdes, okay?
The show. Future show.
It's the Lourdes and Jamal Show, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm joking, he was a super predator, but it's very rare for a super predator to totally transform into a totally honorable, trustworthy husband. It's very rare, honestly speaking. It's very, very rare. They many times slide, they many times slip, they many times those predator instincts start coming out again. It's very rare. If it wasn't for martial arts, from a young age, since I went from middle school to high school, I just totally transformed. I was one of the most popular kids in middle school because I know how to, I have 6 sisters. I know girl psychology. I know how to mess with their minds. Okay. I'm a total prankster, so I was in detention every week. Okay. The teachers hated me, but I was one of the most popular kids in school. And then I went from that, boom, and then I got into martial arts and I just became a Shaolin monk. Completely, just became like Bruce Lee, infatuated, just like completely crazy. That completely saved me. Completely saved me. Because we had rules at EG. Obviously, we couldn't go out of the property without a security guard, those kind of things. And obviously we can go to parties and stuff like that, but even in middle school, their kids are inviting you to parties. Right? And all the cute girls, the most popular hot girls are all inviting me to parties. We want you to come, we want you to come. Obviously we had a very strong, understanding that we cannot fall and those kind of things. But there was tons of temptation. You see what I'm saying? Very dangerous, getting very dangerous. And somehow God swooped in, boom, made me completely crazy about martial arts. Because our brother-in-law was beating us up with a freaking, we get a B, under a B+, we got a hit with a stupid pool stick. So I said, I'm not going to take this anymore. I need to learn how to fight. So I'm not going to take this pool sticking. I got to defend myself. I said, I want to learn this fake stuff. I got to learn the real deal fighting. That's why I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Thai boxing and all this kind of stuff. It was like I felt like I have to defend myself. I'm going to be beat up with a freaking pool stick by some crazy lunatic. And I really don't want to live like that the rest of my life. So I'm going to learn how to fight. And then I just got crazy about Bruce Lee's training all day, 6-7 hours a day, just training. Insane. Crazy. I never knew that God was going to use that later on when we're doing militia training and all this kind of stuff. It becomes a huge asset, that can train the young people, make them dangerous, make them deadly. Kaylin was 12 years old when she started this girl. 12 years old. Actually, that was below the legal limit of what I allow. I say, you got to be a teenager to start training this dangerous art. The art of strangulation and crippling. Actually, 12 years old, maybe it's a little too young. But she snuck in there somehow. Now she's a very deadly girl. But I could not give her those kind of skills, that kind of dangerous thing, if I didn't go through that. I don't know, I didn't know God would use it 20 years later. I had no idea, zero idea. All I knew that it saved me from girls. Because I became a freak martial artist. All I think about. Then after that, it's interesting because once I started learning combat arts and I became tougher, then I also became more confident by saying, no, I'm going to wait to marry. My father's going to bless me. Our whole family is married by my father, and my father's going to choose my wife. That's it. You don't got a problem with that, do you? But that only came because I started learning these arts which make you more dangerous. And then I could stand up to the bullies and I could stand up to this guy who's trying to beat us with a freaking pole stick. Where we used to just cower away and wait for, our elder brothers to try to come in. But that's such a blessing. If God didn't do that, I would become a super predator. Super predator. But God gave me that, whisked me up right at that time. I needed that, boom, I needed that change. And then I become a super sheepdog. But you can't expect all guys to have the ability to completely understand women's psychology and know how to mess with their minds and play with them. You can't expect that. It's a very low percentage of guys who are also very faithful and very loyal and honorable. It's very rare. So even I told my daughter, I said, the Queen tells her all the time, you can't expect your husband is going to be like your daddy, have those levels of skills. So she's already had that talk with the kids already, telling them about that. Lower your expectations. Don't have all these conditions. Very hard to have that combination all at once when the guy is 17 years old, 18. Very rare. So you have to see that potential spouse as a potential work in progress. You're a work in progress, they're a work in progress too. You're not perfect, you're not at your highest level now. Why do you think he's going to be at his highest level? Right, that makes sense. How come you're putting on him to be perfect and you're not close to it? You see that? You can't do that. You know, so you have to keep, in that sense, when I say you have to stay spiritual open, that's what I mean. You have to be open to the move of God and what kind of candidate God may be preparing for you. Because God is preparing a candidate that is absolutely, you need. You need him. He will make you grow. He will push you beyond a boundary that you're very trapped in yourself. You will do the same for him. But if you have too many conditions, too many expectations, too many this or that, has to be this way, has to be this way, has to be this way, has to be like the movies, has to be like this, has to get the feeling, have to do that, have to inspire me, have to woo me, have to surprise me, have to just like total. Are you kidding? Then you're asking for a super predator who will promise you that he loves you and he's going to marry you, have sex with you, and dumps you. That's what happens to all these girls. Oh, the guy said he loved me. He said he was going to get married to me. So I had sex with him. And then he dumped me. You dumb girl. They have no understanding. That's the problem. Be careful. Don't ask for a super predator. Super predators are usually very, very dangerous, very irresponsible, very damaging. Very, very hard to get a combination of a type of very, has all those skills, but at the same time is very loyal, very, very hard. If your potential candidate is a little bit nerdy and a little awkward and weird and ugly. No, I'm not joking, okay. Don't just overly judge the person at the first time, you know what I'm saying? Be patient, see how God works. Be open. If you have in your mind, hey, it doesn't matter who God give me totally a handicapped person, then I will be victorious. If you have that mindset, you are going to thrive. And if you really believe that, you truly believe that, you have that confidence, God's going to bless you. You may get a tremendous, who knows? But if you're in that process, you have to stay open. That's what I mean by staying open. I don't mean, oh, yes, channeling which spirit is there? Yes, which spirit is around him? Yes. I'm going to channel this spirit now and yes, tell me which. No, don't do that. Just praise God and have the Holy Ghost. Don't take no other spirits. They're dangerous. God's spirit is best, okay? Holy Spirit is best. It will guide you to the word and scripture, to righteousness. I mean, look at, we have such quality young people. No, don't climb. Why are you climbing? What's up with you?
No big head, Greg.
Don't climb about it. That doesn't mean they're perfect or something, okay? But they're starting off on a tremendous foundation. Of course, on a foundation also that their parents have stepped up in. So they're on the backs of giants. They're on the shoulders of giants, which is the reason why they're probably very high quality. Okay. But at the same time, You understand? People in this, the parents here, the families in here, okay, they're not, nobody's gonna be perfect. But they all have, most likely, not 100%, but most likely they will have a different level, okay, than the normal person around your age. You know, if you let God work, sometimes we get out of the way, we get our expectations, conditions out of the way. God can work, and God can show you. Sometimes 10, 20, 30 years later, that was absolutely the right decision. We want you all to have tremendous blessings, because your blessing is not only for you, it's not blessing you and your spouse and your children. Is going to be incredibly blessed by your blessings, by the way, because you're going to be very high quality parents. Your children and the future children, the civilization of China will be blessed. But not only that, even in your lifetime, the people who get in touch with your spouse, like, oh my goodness, you are what they want, or what the whole world wants. Not to put a lot of pressure on you to make you feel overwhelmed and overburdened and thinking, oh, I don't want this pressure. No, it's not for that. You see how sometimes I can read your mind before you go there? Not to put pressure on you, but so that you understand, this is going to be a huge blessing. It's going to be a tremendous blessing. If you do your 5%, you have the victorious spirit, you have a very, you have not a victim spirit, but a victor spirit. And you know you're going into this and you're going full steam and you're going to be victorious. It doesn't matter what Satan puts in front of you, doesn't matter what stupid obstacle, doesn't matter what kind of difficulty, you're going to make it victorious. And I'm not saying just rely on yourself. Obviously, you got to rely on God and ask Him for guidance, all this kind of thing. But that even just coming into agreement with God and saying, yes, God, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? That's huge. That was huge. That was the big difference that made Father so happy when I got blessed. He was so happy because for the first time, one of his children was so happy to get blessed. When everybody is bitching and complaining about, oh, I can't choose my son. Oh, my friends can date. I can't even date them. Can't even have it. All this kind of stupid stuff. Did you look around? You look around and see your friends? They're dating and all this stuff. What's it getting them? It's getting them dump, 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 dump. That's all they're getting. Right? Dump, 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 dump. What? Who said that? Oh, the baby. She probably thought it was poo-poo time or not. I need a bathroom break now. I had too much chicken parmesan. I need a break now. No, it's not that kind of dumb girl. Okay. God wants you to be, God will. You're already prepared, the right husband for you girls, the right wife for you boys, but you have to put down your expectations. Don't see with your emotions, don't see with your eyes. Oh, you want me to say so bad? See with your heart. Oh, you want that so bad. No, dangerous. Because people will identify their heart with their emotions many times. And that's not the case. See with your spiritual eyes. See with your eyes of wisdom. See with the eyes of God. See the quality of that person's parents. See the quality of their relationship. See the bigger picture around that person. Not only that person in front of you sitting and shaking their leg. Look at the bigger picture. What's around them? Who's around them? Who is their main factors in their life? Look at the quality of those people. Ooh, see, you gotta have the whole perspective. And God will give you wisdom. He will give you guidance. You'll start seeing things you cannot see if you're focused only on that first meeting or the feelings. Oh, you're going to be disappointed. I guarantee it. Because these boys are not, any of the boys who are saving themselves for marriage, they're not chasing girls around. They're purposely trying not to chase girls around. They're purposely trying to be disgusting and nasty so the girls don't chase them. I'm not joking. You know, Father said that he had to literally not bathe so the girls wouldn't chase him. Remember that in the OSAP? I'm saying, you know, if they truly understand the value of their sovereignty and blessing and purity, they're going to do those things. I'm not saying if they're smelly and don't wear deodorant and are nasty and that they're doing it for spiritual reasons only. They may be lazy as heck. Okay, so I'm not going to give them a out on that one. But guys who are just trying to save themselves from marriage with all that temptation, all the porno, all the sex doll crap and all the stuff that's developing, you know what I'm saying? It's so much for them to handle. They're trying their hardest to stay pure. And then, none of the girls think they're valuable because they can't seduce a girl. Well, if you want a guy that can seduce you, you want a super predator who will leave you. Dump, 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 dump. To see through the external stuff. All right, so maybe he has not the most cool person. But can he get better? Yes, he can. Okay, maybe he doesn't even know how to tuck in his shirt well, or he can't, like when he's eating, he's dropping stuff on his shirt sometimes. Or he's got this stupid thing hanging out, and he's got a crumb hanging off his mouth while he's eating. Eating a cake, he got a crumb hanging off his mouth, because he's not in the habit of wiping his mouth with a napkin. Or you know, this girl's crazy. You know when they get the napkin and they just scrunch it on their face and put it down, it's all a ball of, you know, food particles on the table. Oh man, that gets the girl crazy. Like crazy nuts, like angry. He's like, especially if he's eating spaghetti or something like that. And he's just wiping his mouth, bam, it's like this ball of tissue, and he puts it on there, and you have to stare at that the whole time. That's bad. Like, fathers, please teach your sons some napkin usage etiquette, all right? I teach my sons, they know the tea ceremony, okay, so they know the etiquette. Well, maybe not the high-level tea ceremony. But they at least know how to wipe their mouth with a napkin and fold it nicely and hide it under the dish. They know how to hide some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I mean? All those things can get better over time. Don't just get hung up on them. Okay? If you don't get hung up on those and you let God work, you may see a gem that God is trying to show you. Okay, yes, we have a 2-hour drive back. What time is it now? Oh my goodness, they're already 10 o'clock. Okay, so we have to keep those things in mind because think about even tribulation time. We may have to live close together. We may have to be in community. If there's no electric grid, or the electric grid is down, or there's problems with radio, there's problems with intercommunications, like phones. Well, we may have to even live together on certain properties or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Seriously, right? I'm going to have to take in all the ninjas into the palace and train every day. I didn't say parents as well. That's too many people. You know, that whole dojo's packed shut right now. It's like 45, 60 people in that small little dojo. You understand? It's already a freaking sauna in there. But but these kind of things will still be important. Because even there's the tribulation period, still people will be called to become blessed. People will still be called to fight through spiritual attacks and different demonic spirits trying to destroy them. So we have to be prepared both physically and spiritually, really, right? Yes, go ahead, Emma. She's gonna go drive herself home. Just joking. You go to the bathroom, okay? Don't worry.
I have a
Don't
sense
you leave
that
without me,
it's
baby.
It's gonna get
Don't
like
you leave without me,
30
baby.
more
Big
minutes.
punishment if you
30
leave
more
without me.
minutes.
Doesn't she look amazing in those red pants? Very cool. Very badass. In a good way, Deadly with those red pants. Choke you out. But seriously, even in the tribulation time and their struggle time, we'll still have to go on, get along with our relationships. We're still going to have to thrive in our community. There's going to be other Christians that are going to join. They're already joining our community. Other Christ-centered people are already joining. They're going to bring a whole bunch of skill sets. They may also bring very delinquent children. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You got to be aware of these things. They may be predators. And we love the person who just got saved, but then their kids are like druggies and they're trying to rape the girls or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You never know. So of course we have to be prepared in that way too, to be able to fend off and protect our community. At the same time, everybody also stepping up in their sovereignty and self-defense too. So you can be a line of defense for us too. These young boys training Tess and Caleb and these boys. These boys got a lot bigger than they. When they started, they're like that small. Little shrimps. Now they're in the presence of more and more, they're in the presence of like a warrior brotherhood, samurai brotherhood. That doesn't mean they're perfect or something, but that they learn to get beyond themselves. Growing up to be more and more high quality men as they grow up. They train more. Learning the warrior ethic, the code of conduct. Doesn't mean they're perfect, but they're growing. And they're going to be excellent husbands. Excellent husbands. Very, very sexy, beautiful, excellent husbands. Don't run away, boy. Where you run to? Very, very. So the people are getting higher level. So when we're getting higher level, everybody's getting higher level. And when we recognize that about one another, then God can start moving with the Holy Ghost. Marriage blessing is absolutely it's going to be the most important, relationship that God's going to give you on this earth. Other than with Him, obviously, but it's absolutely the key of His providence. It's the central foci of His providence. All you guys, look at these girls. Look at these. Such going to be high, such incredible moms, incredible, raise the next generation of children honorable. They have a very cool ability, which is when their boys get old, they can wrestle with them and play around with them in that very physical way. That's a huge gift for even their sons. Their sons are going to be blessed so much by that. Like every son, sometimes they can't understand their mommy because their mommy never gives them any skinship. other than just like holding them with a baby and breastfeeding them. But as they get older, in the way that they understand, you know, playing around physically, you know, things like that. Of course, many times the mom is scared because the boys are getting bigger, and she's like, I don't want to play physical with them. As they get bigger and bigger, right? But if you know these kind of arts, you're not going to be scared. It's going to be natural for them to play. Like when I see the queen at nighttime, almost every night, after we train, then we go up, and then the third king and then our youngest, they come down, they sleep with us. And she's always, and she's like, you guys want to see what I learned today? And you would think they're going, no, right, running away. They love it. They're like, okay, let's do it. Okay. You see, if we do this, and then this is the meat hook, and this is the rubber guard, and this is the mission control. You see that? If I do this meat hook, then I can get you in triangle. Okay. They love it. They love it. You see this? If I use my foot here, I can pull on this toe. It's like, okay. They love it, but it's not like they're like being punished. They have such a good time, like playing. And then they start trying to run away, and she's hooking their leg, butterfly hooking their legs, so they can't run away. And she's grabbing their ankles and sweeping them. It's such a fantastic time. I was like, what is going on over there? I got the King's Report tomorrow. Stop playing around over there. But she's she's able to play with them. And it's amazing because they know she's more deadly than them. So they already respect her because they know they're at a lower level. But she's real too. She knows, she tells them, you guys will grow up and you'll be stronger than me. You'll probably beat me, or mom me up at some point. But it's okay, we'll be training partners. You see? But at this stage, before they hit puberty and stuff, and then they're so small, whatever, they respect mommy. They know mommy can strangulate them. Is that a word, strangulate? Strangle. They know mommy can strangle them and cripple them. We're talking about your training at nighttime with Junda. You want to see what I learned today? Every night it's like that. Boys, you want to see what I
Usually
learned
don't
today?
want to see. I just show them, right?
They say they don't want, and then she's chasing after them. They love it. They're throwing pillows at her. Having a freaking rowdy party over there. But like, how amazing is that? Like, what a blessing for the boys to get that from their mommy like that. Oh my God! That's like top 0.01 percentile of men on this earth that can get that with their mom. That's so rare. Like, communicate with her physically in a way that they understand is playful and is love. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, what you guys you don't understand. If you're a girl, you don't get it. It's such an incredible gift that you will be able to give your sons. And it also keeps them humble. Keep them humble. Because they know mommy can strangle them. And mataleon them. And they try to escape, but she catches them, you know. So it actually also keeps them humble. You know? So they respect you even on that level. And even though they may become bigger than her one day and stronger than her and more technical, you know, can tap her and submit her, but still they respect the fact that she already walked the warrior path. Did something that was very hard to do. Everybody wants to quit. It's not an easy training. I want to quit so much. Oh, my life will be so much easier with all this, without all this. Right? How many of you guys training wanted to quit? Raise your hand, be honest. At some point. Come on. By the way, it gets worse when you become blue belt, okay? I always warn you guys, when you become blue belt, it becomes worse. you have to make it through blue belt. If you make it through blue belt, you're through the 95 percentile. You just broke through the 95 percentile. You are now in the 5 percentile. You are in the super, basically, super high level club. But people give up because it's so mentally taxing, physically taxing. You get beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up. You think you suck, you're terrible, you're horrible. All your delusions have to break. You can't, just it's a devastating, devastating reality. But you're so blessed because you got so many people, and you're the queen. Where's Yana Nemo? Where's Yana? Where's she going? Eh? Oh, she's in the kitchen.
Dining hall.
Okay. How is Emo doing? Isn't she good? She's a tough girl, isn't she? She's 40. How old is she? 41? She's 41. She's Dragon, Year of the Dragon. She's 41. She's training like that. Tough. Getting much better. Broken out of delusion. She used to be completely deluded, and I tell her this all the time, because she was a black belt in Won-A-Do, which is not a fighting art. It's not a real martial art. It's very irresponsible to teach kids martial arts and self-defense and not have it able to work. You try to do to any MMA fighter or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, you try to do this to them. You ain't gonna get nothing done. I guarantee you. That's not working. I guarantee you it's not working. I guarantee I'll just sock you in the face. Pow! Come on. But even when she was in that state, I could see she was so diffident. I mean, it's not confident. She was so incompetent. She had to make everybody almost bully people to make her respect her. Like, I'm badass, I'm tough. But she's never tested it. She's never really done it. And it's all this fake stuff. So she had this tremendous insecurity. And so if she was insulted by Martial, you get so like some kind of cult, you get so insulted. And I've told her this before, so she knows what I'm talking about. But now she's training, but she has that good spirit, the good warrior spirit. She's been training hard. And now she's probably the most dominant girl, right? In the whole training. Even though she's lighter and skinnier than many of the other bigger girls, she's probably the most dominant. She broke that delusion, broke through those delusions, and now she has a real stronger sense of confidence. It's not a deluded confidence, right, anymore. She can really, defend herself against an unskilled opponent. She can now, some of these girls now, at this stage, can beat up untrained men. It's just a fact now. Because they are trained the real fighting arts. And of course, even with all the kids here, they know, you don't only learn BJJ, I'm teaching them Kali and Eskrima, which is the Filipino fencing and knife and stick fighting. And also, of course, we do firearms training. In terms of the type of level that they're at, is the level of training is totally different level. Even Tess on that boy, he used to be a little cocky little boy, think he's so cool. Shut up. Those boys in the back saying, ooh. Thinking there's a, ooh, girls, did you hear us say, ooh? He used to be cocky. Is that true, Tessa, or not? That's true, he admits it, but through training, and he's gotten so much better. Look at his sister Marianne laughing behind there. Okay. I never said he was perfect, okay? I said he got better. And his skill level getting better. A lot of these boys, small kids like Caleb, small kids when they start. Now they're becoming very, very fast. Give adults a hard time, right? Well, no, you rolled with the small kids too, right? Now they're adults, they can whoop adults. And it's not so they get a big head and boast about themselves and think they're so badass. No, it's they understand that there is, with that power that grows, that they have, there's responsibility. And there's accountability. But who knew? I didn't know God was going to use all this crazy fight training to train these kind of kids. I mean, Rio and Toshiro, where are the Toshiro boys? Look, let's give it up for the Toshiro boys. Oh my goodness. These Toshiro boys. Wow. Man, oh man. Tremendous. Even though Rio got a little bit of belly, I rag on him all the time with that belly. Wearing that ECU GPJJ black rash guard with that belly. Shiny too, it's shiny. Because that black rash guard is shiny. That's an unforgiving rash guard. Any little wrinkle you got, it shows. But the Toshiro boys, wow. They become such impressive young men. We're so blessed to even see them, see their development. They're so blessed. I feel so grateful that God, in the wilderness, let us really connect with all these people that we're training. When do you guys like sweat and train and sweat on one another and like throw each other? When did you ever get that kind of skinship? There's a lot of bonding that's going on. In a good way, you know. There's a real brotherhood and a real, I can't even say community. It's not only just a community, it's like a brotherhood. It's like a gang, but it's like a heavenly gang. We're going to get these kids with Brother Lowe, when they get their CCW, concealed carry weapon license, and they're at the stage, of course, they will be at the stage where they're responsible to carry weapons and firearms. And we're gonna make a cool bike gang. We're gonna have a cool vest with the people that are embroidered on the back of it. Broom, broom. Broom, broom. But they'll be safe. They'll be safe. Just like we do dangerous training, very dangerous training, but everybody's safe. How great is our injury rate? We hardly have any injuries, right, boys, girls, right? Our injury rate is so low compared to other fight dojos. Praise God. Hey, come on, give God some praise for that. You're going to train too when you get big, okay? Good. All these girls that came from Korea, the Kurita girls, Yuna and Eugene, getting tougher. You know what I mean? What a wonderful... And of course, I'm not trying to get your heads exploded, in big heads. But then they become historical figures. Chaniguk then looks back on the wilderness days and sees these people who are there. Not that you should be in for your glory or that you should, that's not the point. It's just that God put you there. And your descendants see that. They're proud of that. Not that they should worship you as a god or something like that. There's always that danger with ancestor worship. You got to worship God in Christ, that's it, But we respect our ancestors. Hey, we can adore them. So that's a tremendous thing. We're on a tremendous... What's that song? What's that song? How does it go? And we'll be sailing with our Father. You know That's off. You guys are off. Hold on. They're off. The key was off. Hold on. Where's Rio? Where's Shugi? Shugi, come on over here. Get your guitar. There's Shugi Bear. Hey, look at Shugi Bear. Look at that handsome young man. He's a blessed man now. Look at how handsome he got. He used to be a fat little hobbit or something. Now he's a dangerous, handsome young man. Look at him. Sexy man. Dangerous. He knows I'm playing with him. He knows I'm playing with him. Hit it, boys. Sunrise. Father. Praise God.
The trip you're traveling is long. For a new day to come. When the sun rises in the morning, we'll set sail and move on. And we'll be sailing with our Father. You know his ship will never sway. Oh, blue hole on the horizon. We found promised land today. Look out with joy in your eyes. The winds of truth will guide our way, leaving behind the raging sea. On waves of love we'll sail away.
We'll sail.
We'll be sailing with our Father.
Hey!
You know his ship will never stray. While you roll on the horizon, we found the promised land today. Darkness it always turns to light. The promised land is inside. He's our guiding star by night. Days in the day and when sunrise. And we'll be sailing with our Father. You know his ship will never stay. On the horizon, we found the promised land today, and we'll be sailing with our Father. You know his ship will never stay. Oh, you on the horizon, we found the promised land today, and we'll be sailing with our Father. You know his ship will never sway. Oh, you on the horizon, we found the promised land today. We found the promised land today.
Stop. Sit down. You thought we're done now? You guys got started. Yeah? They tried to take away the chairs and I'll sit down again. I know their techniques. All right, everybody, who wants to pray? You want to pray, Rio? Okay.
Please join me in prayer. Most dearly beloved Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that we can be gathered here today and hear words from our second king and queen, Emerson and Yananim. As our king mentioned, I really want to take this time to offer up my spiritual fight to you, Father, and we can truly be spiritual warriors for you, Father. In our prayer, together as brothers and sisters, our collective spirit we can be gathered here together to uplift you and uplift your will and your providence here, Father. I pray that you can really guide us in your fight, Father, that we can be the forefront of your fight, Father, and that we can truly come together as a united people, a united army for you, Father. Please protect us, and please protect our nation. Please protect President Donald Trump, and please heal the wounds of our country, of our nation, Father. Please heal the wounds of the world. Please guide us to be your cure, Father, that we may spread throughout the world and truly offer your word and offer your salvation to everyone, Father. I pray that we can truly take this time to unleash our spirits, Father, unleash your will through us, and that we can truly, through our prayers and through your work, Father, not by our work, but by your work, Father, that we can truly be the vessels that you need us to be, Father. I pray that we can truly take this time to prepare for the tribulation, Father, that you have to bestow upon the world because we have fallen so far away from you, Father. I truly pray that we can become those vessels that you can use to bring your kingdom here on earth, Father. That we can truly establish Changnoguk, not just in name, but an actual sovereign nation, Father. That we can truly bring it about, maybe not in this generation, but in the future generations, Father. That through our lineage and through our foundation we set here today, that we can truly bring about your victory, because we're working from the victory, Father, because you have already proclaimed it, so we just need to take that responsibility and own it. So, Father, I hope that we can truly take that responsibility upon ourselves, and that we can truly lead everyone, our community, our families, our peoples, our nations, and the world, Father, that we can truly lead them to you, Father. I report this and pray this in the name of Rio Shiro, Misha Pup, and Blessed Central Family, and all the Blessed Central families gathered here today. Adieu.